Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are moving right along with the 350Z build. We had some gap issues. We have finished the rear of this vehicle. It is ready for paint. We're moving on to the front. A lot of you probably remember, if you've been following along with this build, we had a lot of gap issues. Things weren't fitting so well on the front end. It had a lot of prior damage. We put another hood on it, we put another fender over there and a bumper. Unfortunately, none of it wanted to fit together very well. So what we did was we got in here, we did a lot of measuring, and what we discovered was this part of the car was still good. All the way up to these points here, everything X'd out. It was square. So we were able to get our fenders lined up with the hood just fine, no problem. Just took a little moving around, little finesse, no big deal. But once you got out here, the headlights and the bumper did not fit anything. What we had was we had a gigantic gap on this side, no gap on the other side. The bumper didn't want to fit across the front. They didn't want to fit, the headlights didn't want to fit the fenders or anything. So what we discovered was, a little more measuring, is once you got out here to this point, this is what's known as a header panel, okay? This is what our headlights and our bumper fasten to, okay? This out here had been knocked over a half of an inch over toward the driver's side. So we had to get in and pull that back over to where our measurement would X out all the way out to these furthest points as well. Once we got that centered and back where it needed to be, everything started to fall into place. So now that's taken care of. We've got our headlights in. They all line up good. Our bumper lines up with the hood well. Everything's good to go. Now we can move on to repairing our fender. This is the last of the body work, repairing this fender. A lot of you guys might have watched my Eastwood welder review. We looked at that as a perfect opportunity to get in here and fix these holes in this fender. It had a lot of crude body work going on. They drilled a bunch of holes in the fender to pull out some dents, left the holes, and once we got in and did some grinding, we discovered that this body line wasn't even there anymore. This was all still caved in, and they just glazed right over it with body fillers. So we got all that out. We got everything straightened out. We got our body line straightened out. We got all of our holes filled up. We could finally move on. That was the last obstacle. We're going to knock this out, move on to the sealer stage, and then we'll move right on to the primer, or the paint stage after that. So moving right along, man. All right, so as always, we're going to take our 80 grit and we're just going to kind of feather out around the edges. I'm going to skim over this one good time. That should make our filler stick really nice. Alrighty, we officially have all the body work done. Everything is dialed in. That fender is nice and straight now, got a nice body line. It's all ready for primer. So we'll get it wrapped up, get it all primed in, and then we'll move on to the blocking stage. We'll get all this blocked out nice and straight, and then we can move on to the sealer stage. Okay, so what we've done is we've gone down the whole side of this car with the 600 grit sandpaper on our palm sander. And the reason I've done that is rather than just Scotch-Briting it, this car's been painted before and it's got dirt that was left in the paint. You can see a little piece there. It's all over the side of it basically. So I figured this would be a good way to knock everything down, get everything to a nice even playing field before we go putting any of our refinishing products on top of this. If there's dirt already in it, you're going to end up with dirt when you're done. So we already got enough of those issues as it is. So why paint over dirt? When we could do something about that, you're better off just go ahead and knock it down now. So 600 grit, the whole side is what I've done. We'll go through and we'll get all of our edges and things like that with the Scotch-Brite, and we will be ready to start our masking process. We're going to do a light masking over this. We're not going to get super carried away. It's only to do the primer, so it won't be like a finish mask when we're going to actually spray paint, which is much more involved. This will be a nice loose masking. We'll just run a little tape around a few of the spots, poke a hole through our plastic, only on the spots that we're going to prime. It'll be super quick and easy. That's what we'll do next. Okay, it's all Scotch-Brited all around the edges. Everything is good. Everything is clean. We're going to go ahead and start running our plastic, get everything masked up, and get onto that priming stage. All right, so we got everything masked off. I got my respirator. I got my primer mixed up. We're gonna put our Eastwood turbine system to the test. See, I've never sprayed primer with it. Let's see how it does. So hey, there's our first coat of primer. It laid it down pretty smooth. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting it to spray the primer very well because it's kind of thick. It hosed it on there just fine. Come check it out. That's our first coat, nice and smooth, just as, you know, anything I would expect from any other gun. So good deal. All right, as always, we want to go through and hit it with our guide coat before we pull all the plastic off. Don't want to get overspray on everything. I just use cheap old Walmart 96 cents a can spray paint, flat black. Don't use gloss. Gloss will kind of gum up your sandpaper. Those of you that's been following my videos, you know what this is for. Those of you that don't, go back and watch some of my old videos. Watch the Harley truck rebuild. You'll see us use a lot of this. You'll know exactly what it's for then. All right, so we got everything primed in now. We'll get it all unmasked and we'll start the blocking process, get all this primer blocked out. I got me some 320 grit sandpaper. I'm gonna put this on my block. I'm gonna do this wet. Got me a little spray bottle. We're gonna do our crosshatch pattern as always, until all of that black spray paint that we sprayed on is gone. This is what you end up with here. A nice, smooth, straight surface. Each and every time, just hold that block nice and flat. Check it out, man. When it turns solid gray again, you know you've got all your sand and scratches out. You know you've got the orange peel out, so it's just glass smooth. We're gonna do that over this whole surface, just like we did on the other projects. If you guys haven't watched, go check out the Harley truck build. You'll see a lot of block sanding in that video, as well as the Mustang build. We covered a lot of that, so I'm not going to bore you guys with all those details. We're going to get in here, we're going to get this all blocked out, but I think that's going to do it on this one. The video's getting too long. I time-lapsed a lot of this stuff, and I just feel like it's just getting too long. I don't want to bore you guys with every little detail. I've already covered this a lot in other videos. So I'm going to go ahead and split this up into 2 videos. Next time you see the car, we're going to be actually moving on to the paint process, and we're going to start that, get this thing sprayed, make it look good. Got a little surprise for you on the paint thing. It's not going to be solid blue, so just stay tuned for that. Please like and subscribe, you guys. I appreciate you watching. Share the videos with your friends if you don't mind. That'd be really cool. Check me out on Instagram. We'll put a link in the description, and hey, I'm out of here, man. See y'all later.